AA Best Bell Bronze brings to you the head football coach of your fighting Dallas Cowboys. His name's Mike McCarthy, and he's with us right now. Morning, Coach.
Hey, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Coach.
Hey.
We are doing just fine, Coach. Coming into a bye week, you don't want any presenteeism right before everybody goes on vacation. So, how's the attitude around the building and getting ready for a little vacay after a football game, or can you even think about that yet?
Well, no, I think it's like anything. We live our lives on a schedule, and we're very routine oriented, and but at the end of the day, it's a point that has been made loud and clear, at the beginning of the week, and frankly, again yesterday. It's just we got a lot of work to do this week to improve, and we got a team that's coming off a big Monday night win, and we need to make sure that we take care of business Sunday, and then next week will take care of itself.
Coach, you spent a decade hating this team. You still got that hate buried down deep in there somewhere?
No doubt. No, it's definitely a team that to be part of the rivalry between the Bears and the Packers is it's cool. It's reminds me a lot of the NFC East. You just have long history with these teams, and always brings you a little extra.
Hey, Coach, I appreciate some of the things you've done for your team over the year. The motivational stuff that you've done behind the scenes, and you're talking about the rivalry with the Packers and the Bears and your history. Emmitt Smith setting a record or settling 20 years after. Have you done anything around the building with talking about the old school Dallas Cowboy and the record that might not ever be broke?
Yeah, I mean, actually, I was asked about it. I was going to say Wednesday in the press conference, and I know they were having something for Emmitt that day. But yeah, I mean, I agree with you. The most important part of it, I think, your words about it. I don't see how it could be broken, because they asked me that, and you stop and think. I mean, it's just such an incredible record, and I don't know how you, even with 17 games,
right?
This thing is today. I think it's clearly, the old saying, records are meant to be broken, but I think it's just a testament to Emmitt and the offensive lines, and just that incredible run they had as a football team. But heck, I mean, I watched Emmitt go up and down the field on me when he was in Arizona when I was working in New Orleans. But just obviously an incredible career, and obviously it deserves to be celebrated as much as possible.
A lot of the bye week probably, Coach, couldn't come at a better time. You guys are banged up, as is everybody. It's the NFL. How's everybody looking for your Sam, Noah Brown, Zeke Elliott? Is this all come down to Saturday game time decisions, or is there anybody for sure is going to be sitting out, is for sure going to be playing?
Well, I think the biggest thing is you always give these guys a chance, especially your veteran players, because this is what I've always believed in. No one knows the player's body better than the player. So if a guy feels like he has a chance, you give him that chance, and but from our perspective, we want to see him practice Saturday. So the practice Saturday is always is the threshold that you gotta get by. But I agree with you. Week after week 8 is a perfect time for buy, and we definitely could use one.
Coach Mike McCarthy joining us here on San Antonio Sports Star. Was brought to you by AA Best Bail Bonds. Yeah, talking about your training room, lots of guys banged up. Sam Williams and Parsons added late. Any concern about on Sunday?
No, I think I see Micah going through today, and Sam today fine. But I just want to see Sam practice Saturday. But I don't have high concern for Micah.
And Zeke, what we have to ask.
Yeah, no, we'll see what he can do today. I know he made a huge gain from Tuesday to Thursday, so we'll see how he's doing. And but if we had practiced today, he would still be in the rehab group.
Right.
Yeah, we talked. So you and Rob, Coach, talked about it the last time when y'all were facing Jalen Hurts. Did Will Grier get to play Justin Fields like he got to play Hurts? Did y'all run Will Grier back out there?
I mean, Will and Cooper have done a good job for most part. We actually had C.J. Goodwin back there for probably half a dozen snaps.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I told him to give him the 4.4 speed, but save your 4.3 speed for Sunday. No, C.J. did a nice job.
You know what, Coach? I don't know, I guess the past few years, Saturdays have kind of infiltrated Sundays as far as the NFL for the longest was kind of like, hey, you got to adjust to what we do. Like, perfect example. Like Charlie Ward would probably be the first pick in the draft nowadays, whereas back in the day, it was just a different game. Have you seen that transition to where Sundays is kind of like, we'll adjust to what you guys do on Saturdays to make it work on our game, or we'll make it work on our team on Sundays?
Well, I think the biggest thing is, the influx is clear. I think college football, and how it's being played has probably become as big a part of the NFL that I can recall in the last 30 years. And I can recall Charlie Ward coming on because we had traded for Joe Montana in 1993, and we wanted to draft Charlie. But,
Wow.
and he, I think there was a conversation that, if he didn't go in a certain round, that he was going to go to the NBA, and obviously went on to the NBA and had an excellent career. But boy, I always loved the athletic quarterback, and if you look back at Joe in his career, Joe was an exceptional basketball player, in his high school days. So, I thought he would have been a great fit, Charlie, for the West Coast offense.
Mhm.
Just the success that he had at Florida State. But I think I clearly agree with you. I think he'd be a first round pick clearly in today's NFL. The rule changes and just the way this thing's going. So it's not just a part of what you do, how you view Saturdays, but it's something you have to start training as a defense, all the way back in April these days, because you're going to potentially see it a couple times a year.
Yep. Coach, with that, dovetailing onto that, why is scoring so difficult this year for everybody? Not everybody has a Dan Quinn and a defense like you do, but scoring is down across the league. Is there an overarching change in the defenses? Is it training camp really doesn't begin till week 2 of the season? I mean, why are we not seeing what we saw at the end of last season?
I think it's like anything in this game. You have trends and that you have to really pay attention to. But I think it's a number of things, and I think you hit on a couple of them. Yes, I think the time with the play with your players is limited more than ever, and even the time that you do have, it's extremely scrutinized on what you can do and how you do it. So I think it's clearly has made a huge effect on the game overall. I think September football, if you just look at the first 4 weeks of the season, you look at the quality of football, I think it's clearly evident. I think also the training of your offensive line. I mean, these guys are frankly, a disadvantage going into an NFL season, just because if you look at all the other positions on how they're able to train to be ready to play in real games, the offensive line is significantly behind in training in that area. But also, I think you got to look at the trends that go on when you have changes in roles. I mean, it's more of a space game,
Mm-hmm.
and the investment and the value. And I don't even know if you can measure this, but there aren't too many weeks that you play defensive line that doesn't have at least three first round picks on it. So I think the defensive lines and have are premier as far as the investment and how people are bringing in those type of players. And the other part of it too is if you look at just the scheme trends the last 5 or 6 years, I mean, defensive schematically, they're doing so much more on first and second down. First and second down is you're seeing the multiplicity that you normally have seen the last 30 years on third down. So I think all those things factor, and it's not an excuse, but I think that's just part of being in tune with the trends. And and we're part of it. I mean, you just look at the focus for our defense from a personnel point. I mean, we put tremendous amount of assets into our defense. Our defenses in 2020, 2021, leading into us, and it's helped us get to where we are today defensively.
This coming up, Sunday, Coach, you got the Chicago Bears, who, as of right now, that could change, lead the league in rushing. Talk to us about the Bears, and you guys also made a trade for Hankins to kind of beef up the defensive line. Talk about the trade you made and what you're facing in this Chicago team.
Yeah, I think Hankins is a great fit for us. I mean, I don't think you can get big enough inside, and I think he's just another excellent player for us. And because a big strength of us, our defense is our rotation. If I could paint a picture of play time distribution, I would use last week's format. I don't think we had a player over 41 plays. So I think when you're able to roll your front like that, it's a tremendous benefit.
Mm-hmm.
And not only just to win the game, but also over the course of a season. So and he's a great fit for that. So But yeah, run defense is going to be primary, number one come Sunday afternoon because just the way this offense is built, and you got to really recognize what they did on Monday Night Football. Very, very impressive.
It was a stunner, quite frankly. And Coach, as the trade deadline coming on Tuesday next week, whenever it is, and a lot of talk will be about it, I'm curious about the process behind the scenes. What's McClay doing all day long, and how does he know what players to be grading or to be studying? I mean, was Hankins somebody that just came available? Did you know about him for a while, and then how did you know that this was the guy?
Well, I mean, Will McClay and the whole staff. I mean, this is a year-round process.
Right.
So I mean, you're looking at it from every angle. You're looking at it from contractual need, what teams want, knowing their wants, and at the end of the day, it's about value, assessing value, and how it fits your team. Does the player fit? Obviously, Jonathan, we think is an excellent fit for us, and then you get down to the business component of it, and it was a good deal on both sides, and that's really what this league's all about. I mean, fair deals, I think are what you're looking for. I mean, there aren't too many times you get to rob a bank and hold something.
Well, I'm curious, is there like a dark web, a list of guys that are available that nobody knows is available? How did you know about Hankins other than them just call and say, hey, he's available today? Or did you know for days or weeks? I mean, how did you know him and have enough time to evaluate that for him to do what you wanted him to do?
Yeah, I mean, it was a process that was been going on for weeks for Jonathan's situation. But yeah, and it could be in one day too. I mean, every situation is different. But this is a big part of what our personnel department does, and Will McClay does a tremendous job of heading that up. And he's, Will's, I sit down with Will at least once or twice a day, and he's always looking at somebody, and we'll sit there and talk about it. And, so I'll tell you, I mean, these guys do a great job in this area.
Well, I know you talked about your rotation, Coach, and that's huge for anybody at any level. Where do the reps increase for the replacing Jordan Lewis, which was a tough loss for you guys?
Well, I mean, obviously our young guys get a chance to step up and play, and I feel really good about, Deron Bland and obviously Kelvin Joseph and Nashawn Wright. So these are guys that have played some football for us, and but yeah, we feel good about having the rotation. I mean, Jordan Lewis has missed greatly. I mean, just not only for how he performs, but just for the type of man that he is, and what he brings to the table every day. He's just a tough, hard-nosed, player, but just his locker room presence and so forth. So he will definitely be missed.
You're gonna have the light on, and do you give away good candy on Halloween, Coach? I was told to ask you that. Do you give away the good candy, the big candy bars, little candy bars, or you keep the light on?
Well, I tell you, the last place I worked, I made the mistake on the radio and said, "Oh yeah, my wife hands out the big boxes of candy." We went from 300 boxes to 500 in 1 year. So
you gonna leave it alone.
We will be.
So you do candy
there.
corn? Is that what you're doing?
No.
We're my wife Jessica handles that, and she does not disappoint. I'll just say that.
Oh, good news. You got any plans for the vacay? A little getaway?
No, I'll be here. I got a number of things I got to do in town here, and frankly, just try to spend as much time.
You got to go mow the lawn, trim the hedges, get everything taken care of.
No, I'll be mowing the lawn. The highlight of my day is taking my kids to school. So
awesome.
I'm gonna get some work done around the office here and knock out a few things, but just try to spend some time with the family.
Well, Coach, enjoy that. We look forward to a good week of football. You guys stay healthy, and we'll talk to you in a couple of weeks, Coach.
All right, man. You guys have a great couple of weeks. Talk to you.
You too. Good luck Sunday.
Head coach Mike McCarthy right here, brought to you by AA Best Bail Bonds.